Video from my August 26, 2017 dive to the Missile Tower and Hogan in San Diego. This was my first technical dive after getting a minor case of the skin bends back in July, so I was taking it a little easier than normal. I set my gradient factors to 30-70, which is widely considered to be very conservative. Normally I run 30-80, which is itself conservative. This time I had one computer set at 3070, the other at 3080, and there was about a 5-minute decode difference. The first dive was on the missile tower. The current was incredibly strong, but the visibility at the bottom was absolutely breathtaking. I don't think that I have ever had visibility quite this good at the missile tower. This entire video was shot with my Panasonic GH5 with the 12 to 35 millimeter f2.8 lens. And in some instances I'm using two 8300 lumen big blue video lights. And it was just breathtaking. I am so happy that we finally got to go out. The missile tower is a very exposed site, and so when the weather picks up, you can get skunked pretty easily. We've had to repeat our attempts probably 3 or 4 times by now. Here, I'm actually swimming in front of the tube where the Trident missile resides. It's on the left. You can see my dive buddy X in his orange fins swimming in front of it. It's big enough for you to swim inside, turn around, and swim back out. That's always a fun shot. Here we've backed up a little bit from the missile tower so you can get a sense of its scale. It's basically a big cube that's fallen over on its side at the bottom at 165 feet. The next spot we hit was the Hogan, and the Hogan is typically one of my favorite dives in San Diego. It's been down since the 40s. It was a 4-stack destroyer that the Navy used for target practice and is absolutely covered in life. It's about 120, 125 feet at the sand, so you can do it recreationally, but it would be a very, very short dive. The current here was even worse than at the missile tower. In fact, when I was coming up after my deco stops were over, I was having trouble just holding on to the granny line. At one point, I looked up while I was still in the water, and the crew was looking down at me laughing. When I got back on the boat, they told me that they were laughing because they could actually see a wake breaking over my head due to just how strong the current was. But here too, because of this current, the visibility was simply fantastic. I have never, ever seen it this good. I have never seen it this clear. When you were at the middle of the wreck, you could see the vast majority of it. It was easily 60 feet of visibility. As always, the Hogan was teeming with life. And though I always hunt for wolf eels, this time I got skunked. From some of my dive friends who were on the boat, they said that they only saw one, so I don't feel too bad. It's not uncommon for me to see 4 or 5, maybe 6 or 7. Another kind of fun thing about this particular dive was that another boat was in the area, and I actually ran into one of my other tech dive buddies who was on that other boat. He's one of the few San Diego divers that actually dives without a hood, so he's very easy to pick out underwater. I really hope that the conditions stay this good and that we were able to make it back out there. The surface of the water was completely still. The current was absolutely ripping for the first 10 feet, and it tapered off as we got deeper. But we were treated to this beautiful scene.